Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 195 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of April 19th through the 25th, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we are opening the Loud Ass Recipe Box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios South, also known as my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify, or anything like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, a rating, anything they'll let you do, and subscribe so you'll know immediately when something new is coming out. It would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, we welcome you and thank you for listening. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Diamondback Grill. It's casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem, and is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers. Try one of their themed menu specials. Every day is a different theme. They're located at 751 Avalon Road. Find them on the web at diamondbackgrill.com and on Facebook and Instagram. So, Ray, yesterday was my second birthday.
Nice.
So what that means for new listeners or people who have forgotten, 9 years ago yesterday, I had my triple bypass heart surgery. I'm still here. I'm happy. I'm mostly healthy. All is good on the old Tim front, and it's good. I didn't wake up and take the picture that I posted on my blog until 9 years ago today, and it was later in the day. I was out for over 24 hours in recovery. My lungs wouldn't re-inflate, so they couldn't take all the tubes and stuff out of me. So it did finally, and one of my favorite things to say about that was I was in recovery, and my mom, who's always tried to be funny, comes in and puts her hand on my shoulder very gently, and she goes, "See, you really do have a heart." And I motioned to the nurse to bring me something to write with and on. And in my sedated, nearly drunken state, I wrote, "Leave the comedy to me." Because I couldn't talk because tubes were down my throat. So I just wrote that and handed it to my mom. So, yeah.
We're glad that you're still with us.
I appreciate that. I'm so glad to be here. Almost half the restaurants on my side of the list are advertising that they're hiring for many, if not all, positions. We talked about it last week, but there is a drought for quality help right now. I just wanted to reiterate that if you're in need of a job and can do anything associated with restaurants, there is a job out there waiting for you. You can't say that there's no work, because there is. It may not be able to find $16 an hour, which is what some of the unemployment equals out to right now. But you know what? Unemployment will dry up soon. So you might want to go ahead and start looking for that job. Now, again, as I mentioned last week, it's not just because of the unemployment that this is happening. A lot of it is because it was an opportunity for people to get out when they could, and they did, and decided they don't necessarily want to go back. Yeah. So,
it's honest work, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
Restaurant is, if you're really working a restaurant, that's not an easy job to do.
Nope.
It's very demanding.
Yes, it is. Talking real quick about Carrabba's Italian Grill, located at 587 South Stratford Road. And this is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take communities they serve very seriously. It's in their charter. And for us, having a fantastic franchisee or proprietario like Daniel Butner certainly does not suck. He does a lot of stuff for the community. He feeds a lot of charities and causes. He donates his time, his efforts, materials. So he does a lot of stuff. I talked about it last week, but Stephanie and I went there a couple weekends ago, and we tried the bourbon barrel-aged white wine. So go in and ask Daniel about the bourbon barrel-aged wine that Tim and Stephanie had. And follow Carrabba's on social media and at carrabbas.com. Now, I drove by Hong Kong King, and I can confirm that all their signs have been removed. And the oddly and grotesquely anatomically correct dragon couple out front are also gone.
Aww,
did you ever notice
darn.
those things?
Yes.
One had testicles and the other had lady parts, which was just kind of off-putting.
I don't know that I had recognized that feature of them, but I recognized they had those big statues out there.
Yeah, you come out of the door after you've finished eating, and you nearly lose your lunch because of all the oddly and grotesquely anatomically correct dragons that were there, because you're looking straight up their butts.
Wow.
And other parts. So yeah, it was that they're gone and the signage is gone. So I don't know what's going on there, and I have not found out more about Monterey, but I'll keep looking. The link on the Facebook from our list goes to whatever reason the Healy Drive location, but the top header picture is from Silas Creek Parkway. The website for Monterey, which is a chain,
right,
shows that location active, but then again, it hasn't been updated, at least the copyright hasn't, since 2012. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. If any of the listeners have any updates on that, it would be great if you'd share them with me. Tim at themanwhoatethetown.com would be great. There's a new place in Robin Hood Village out there in the middle of BFE on the Pofftown side of Robin Hood Road that will be called Curry and Noodle. And it's, if my guess is correct, it will be where Social Southern Kitchen was. Because the post I saw said it was across from Stoked, and I know that this is across from Stoked, and it was recently, I won't say abandoned, but it was recently empty. So, yeah, it appears to be Indian food, and which seems to be a very fast-growing cuisine in these parts. But so when I find out more about that, I will let you know.
That'd be good to know. Oddly enough, in England, the number one takeout food is Indian. That's what they eat more of than even. They're not rivaling India, but
right. Well,
they've learned it's good food.
Well, that and England owned India for a while.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people from India ended up especially in London. When we were in London in 2014, we made a point to stop at an Indian restaurant and eat there. And it was better than the Indian restaurants here. But still, Indian, I have to really be in the mood for it. It's not something that I always just want. So I don't usually go seeking it out. It usually takes someone else to go, hey, let's go have some Indian. That's okay. But it's not something that I just go look for.
Yeah. Personally, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just nothing that I'm, I don't seek it out. So, Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk. A chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, fruits, veggies, meats, and dairy from local sources. Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's custard, and it's getting, not today, but usually it's getting warmer outside. So, custard will be the thing to have in the next little bit. A wall of beer and wine and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, but not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. So last week I talked a little bit about the Flower Box, saying that they were moving, but they were very secretive about the move. On their Facebook page this morning, it says they're still looking for their quote unquote forever home. And I hate that term. I mean, we're not picking out an animal to adopt, and
no.
Even for them, I hate that term. Just why can't it just be a home?
Yeah.
So that contradicts. Yeah, that contradicts the statement last week that they were moving and being secretive. I believe they're still looking, so stay tuned, kids. They keep posting a bunch of stuff that, look what we do. And somebody says, okay, where are you located? Well, we're still looking for that forever home.
Okay. I mean, I can appreciate that they're still trying to stay top of mind and make people aware of who they are and what they're doing. Come on now. Just find us a spot. Yeah. Surely there's at least one place in town that they could move into.
Oh, there's plenty of places. There are plenty of places that are open right now. Are open meaning available.
Yeah.
It may not be downtown. If you're looking for downtown, that may be a problem. But there may be some downtown. You never know. You need to. It could be that they found a place and can't work on the terms correctly. I don't know. But stop calling it forever home. I hate that. That's just dumb. CB's Tavern is a bar that is remarkably close to Pine Tree Tavern. Their addresses are almost the same. It's on Bethania Station. I mean, like, when I say the same, one of them, and these are numbers I'm making up, but just an example. One is 2880 and one's 2870. So they are quite close to each other. But anyway, it's owned by Sherry Bottoms, and they are the reason I mentioned about the CB's Tavern, and that's their first place, but she's actually opening a sister location to that in the Old Hills Barbecue location on North Patterson that will be called DB's Bar and Grill. I don't know who the DB is. Someone mentioned wings on the page, so I'm sure that and other bar fare will be on the menu. Sherry accepted my friend request this morning, so I hope to ask her. Just stay tuned on that. But I was really interested in what might go in that building. A couple reasons I'm interested in it. One, it's food, but two, it's not the greatest of locations, but it also could be an anchor for more things to come in there. So
yes,
no one goes down that section of Patterson unless they're looking to buy either a mobile home, which there's no place in this town to put it, or those sheds and things.
Yeah.
So
parts for mobile homes.
And parts for mobile homes and old car parts and stuff. So I don't know. There's some houses up through there, but I don't know how much of that would go to a bar and grill. I don't know how much wouldn't, but I don't know that the clientele that's currently there will be her target, and that's okay. So again, it could be something that draws people to there, and other things will go, hey, Sherry's doing well over there at DB's. Let's go put our thing over on that across the street and see what happens.
Yeah. It would be good to see that area that's basically been blighted revitalized. And, if we can do it through food,
all
it's a
the
good
better.
thing.
All the better.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about burgers. How about that?
Oh, I love burgers.
Me too.
Did you see the picture that Diamondback posted when they were doing their burger night?
On for this
Instagram
week?
feed?
This week, no. I had one from Diamondback last week.
The burger, it was one of those massively stacked up burgers. There's probably 5 pounds of meat in there.
Yeah. I did not see that, but
I don't think it was theirs. I think it was just somebody had taken a picture of this extreme burger. They're like, well, it's burger night, so let's talk about it, and here's a good visual for you.
yeah. I might need to talk to Kimberly about that. But we are now up to 95 on the burger list. And that 3-a-week rule is out the window at this point. Yeah. I had burgers this week.
Just a minute. We hit 100. We're going to get to 100. It's happening.
We're getting closer. I had burgers this week from Mosell's, Munchbox, Rudy's Cafe in Greensboro, and Stephen and I went to Hops here in Winston on Friday, where we had 2 burgers, but we're only counting one on the list.
Why was the other excluded?
Well, I just picked the best of the 2 and said, okay, we'll go with this, because even when we do boondoggies and stuff like that, if we have 2 or 3 at a time, I'm just going to, for this time, because last time someone made I forget who it was, this list is skewed and blah, blah. Yes, it's skewed, dumbass. It's my list. But I do think that several burgers in there, I mean, I might talk about them, but the rating itself will only go to 1 burger. But we had at Hops, we did have the classic burger, and we had that on a pretzel bun, and then we had a goat burger, which was beef, but it had goat cheese and a couple things on it, on a wheat bun, wheat brioche, I think. So we decided which one we liked the better, and and that will be my rate. Ray. Stephen told me, he said, "I'm not even going to look to see what any of your ratings are." I said, well, okay, but he has special privileges. Plus, he paid for the burgers on Fridays. You get a little inside track on that. I said, as long as you don't go telling anybody.
So of the 2, which one is going to stay on the list?
I can't tell you that.
I mean, you're not telling us how you rated it, just that one was a little better than the other. That's all we're hearing.
Right. That's exactly what you're hearing. I told you're not fooling me with that shit again.
I'm trying. Let's see how we can get some information out of there.
Well, let me say that both of them were really good burgers. Are they going to make Are they going to make on the list? Who knows? But
they were good burgers.
Yeah, I will give this much information away. This time around was better than the first time. We did this when they first opened in 2019, right? And when I was doing that tour, and I was not impressed. And everybody's talking about Hops this, Hops that, and I'm like, I don't know. So it was on the list this time, and I'm going to do the Hops in Greensboro as well. But
pair them against each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I've had 2 of the 3 big burger spots. And, so, yeah. But the burgers this time, both were much better than the last time we went, which was the last time I went. I mean, that was with Stephen going there was the last time I was there. So,
see, I'm thinking too, if you're going to go through 95, or let's just say you're going to go to 100 restaurants and eat burgers, well, then there's something that we get to talk about during all of this. Like, you went to Moselle's. I don't think of Moselle's as a burger joint.
Yeah, they have the chef's double.
You don't have to tell me don't have to tell me your rating, but how is Moselle's as a burger joint? Is it a good burger?
Well, they only have one. They only have one burger on the menu, and it's the very last thing on the menu. It's called the Chef's Double, and it is a double. And I haven't posted any of the pictures for any of the burgers that I've had yet. I'm kind of lazy right now, especially with this project that I got going on. So I still haven't posted the Pufftown Kitchen stuff. I haven't posted this, so it will come maybe next week when I get from out of the weeds from this video project that I've been working on. I will be able to post some burger pictures and the Pufftown Kitchen stuff. Do a whole post on that. We will see, but I'm going to try my best. So I put that out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like when we go back at Moselle's, would you recommend the burger if you knew somebody was going to Moselle's, or would you recommend something else on the menu?
Well, that's a hard one because there are so many good things on that menu that.
Does the burger match up with the rest of the menu?
Yeah,
do they do as good a job with the burger as they do with everything else?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not telling me how you ranked that burger against anything else. It just tells me Moselle's actually has a good burger.
Yeah. So I mean, it. And even if I didn't like the burger, and I'm not saying that's the case, even if I didn't, that doesn't mean that I don't like the rest of Moselle's food. So but. So the most I can tell you was I did like the burger. Now, where does it stack up? No one knows. Even I don't know yet. I've rated it. I've done my spreadsheet stuff, and even that, I told Steven, I said at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, when I do my ratings, even if the spreadsheet tells me one thing and I feel it should be something different, I'm still going to change that because it's still my list. But I'm really using the spreadsheet to keep track of where I am and how I felt, because after a year, some of these burgers, especially if I don't go back to the place, not saying it wasn't worth it. I mean, if it's a place in Greensboro, and I don't go to Greensboro a lot, but I think if you're going to Greensboro, you should have this place. Then I want to know what it was. So that's why I'm using that spreadsheet, and it gives me an overall rating of how I felt about something. But it's still in the very end all up to my thought process, even though I have the overall happiness rating, which is 35% of the score. But still, I could look at it and go, there's no way in my head that XYZ burger was better than TUV burger. So, so even if the scores right out that, so it could be that they switch places. Now they're number 4 instead of 5. So, yeah. So that's the little behind the scenes on that.
Well, and it's also, for me, it's interesting just to hear your experience, for example, at Hops. You're like, we were there a couple of years ago and it was okay, but man, this was good.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, share that kind of stuff with us as you go along. So, when we hear that, we go, I hadn't been there either. And Tim's saying those burgers were good. Maybe we need to go over there and check that out ourselves.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be as neutral as possible on everything, because if I say, I recommend this, but don't say one of the other ones that I recommend, then it's going to come off like I'm rating it lower. But it's just not. That's not necessarily the case. I just have to be very careful how I tread on that. So I had put a post on one of the local foodie boards on Facebook asking for recommendations. I'm doing the same of my listeners. Where do you want me to try a burger for the list? I can tell you that all the main places for burgers I'm certainly going to go to, so you don't have to tell me. I've been to Hops. Bad Daddy's is on there, Chin Chin's on there, Boondoggies, and Nick's. I don't need those recommendations because, well, one, Boondoggies was number one last time, so I certainly will go back to that place. Right. So I want to know the places that are maybe off the beaten path, or that, like Moselle's, is not a place you would think of for the burger. Because, I mean, it's a no-brainer that we're going to the places that are actual burger places. So I'm not looking for those. I don't want those. But if you do have recommendations, send me a message on Facebook. Send me personally one. Or on the Man Who Ate the Town Facebook page. Or send an email to tim@themantwhoatethetown.com. I want to try a lot of burgers this year. And I will. Leah sent in message that there was nothing on her list to mention other than the flower box, which I had gone and looked this morning, but she's apologized that she's not been here. She's knee deep, and it's been 2 papers a week for her school stuff, so she's just covered up.
That's what happens when you want to go get your master's degree.
That's true. It's not just, okay, I want to do it. You have to actually work for it. And that's what she's doing.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Yep. Well, our food holidays are sponsored by Mojito Latin Soul Food. It's your go-to Cuban and Latin-inspired restaurant. The good news is they have reopened their dining room. It had been takeout only, as Ray found out. Due to staffing issues, but they're back open. I have to tell you that Cubano sandwich, the Cuban sandwich, is hands down, to me, the best sandwich in town. All the flavors punch you in the tongue, and the sandwich is made in the tradition that Michael grew up with. You know that the Mojito burger will be on the burger tour, even though it's not beef, it's chorizo and a couple other things, but yeah. But I believe Tuning Fort Provision, which they also own, which is the food truck outside of Fiddlin' Fish, does have burgers, and we'll try that one too. Mojito. I
find it interesting. You said it's the best sandwich.
Yes.
In town.
Right.
Not burger.
Right. Yeah, it's a sandwich because it's ham and pulled pork and Swiss cheese and mustard and pickles, and it's not expensive ham. It's not Black Forest ham. It's actually boiled ham with regular Swiss cheese, regular pickles, and French's yellow mustard. Nothing fancy there. People go crazy and put all this fancy stuff there, and it's not even a real Cuban anymore at that point. It's some fancy hodgepodge of stuff. So Michael knows what he's doing. This is the way he was brought up with it, and that's what we get to do. Mojito Latin Soul Food does reservations. They do takeout. They have a rather large outdoor patio and do deliveries to the surrounding businesses like Fiddlin' Fish, Broad Branch, and Wise Man. Check them out on their Facebook page and at mojitolatinsoulfood.com. So today is the 19th of April, which means it is National Amaretto Day.
Ooh.
I like some amaretto. The first mixed drink I ever ordered legally, actually because I didn't drink mixed drinks before I was 21. I would just drink beer and wine coolers. But the first mixed drink I ever had was an amaretto sour, because someone had said, "Hey, you need to try that." Okay. And I had it at Casa Gallardo. I don't know if you even remember that. That was in the Haynes Mall parking lot. It's now where Chipotle and all that stuff is, but it was Casa Gallardo is a Mexican restaurant, and then it was Porterhouse, which ridiculously expensive steakhouse, and then it closed down, and they put this new thing there. But I miss Cascagardo. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
Yep. And the 19th also is Garlic Day, and I'm a big fan of garlic, so that's good.
We keep a big jar.
You don't? Is it the already processed kind?
Yeah, the already minced up.
Yeah. Now, see, to me, part of the fun is doing all that myself. My mom's getting me a Pampered Chef garlic press. I'm like, okay, I can do that too, but I actually like chopping. And it's also today National Rice Ball Day. And I looked up some rice ball recipes. I don't have any in front of me, but I looked it up, and they were interesting things, like cheese and other things just balled up and baked or deep fried.
Sounds good.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, deep fry that.
Yeah. On the 19th in 1938, RCA NBC began broadcasting the first regular TV programs from the Empire State Building for 5 hours per week.
A week.
Well, that's very few TV sets even existed to receive the programs, so they didn't want to go too deep into the programming because who knows if that newfangled thing was going to hang around or not. In 1995, on the 19th, the Supreme Court ruled that alcohol content could be listed on beer labels, overturning a 1935 law that had prohibited it. I don't know why. It seems like we would need to know that.
Yeah.
In 1935, when was Prohibition? Was it still going at the time? I don't remember. As much as we talk about that, you think I remember. I don't. Anyway, 2020 on the 19th, Walmart requires all employees to wear face masks. So that smart for them. They all should. 420, which to some people means a whole lot of things. But it's also National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day. And the one day that Stephanie would not get behind is National Lima Bean Respect Day.
No respect from anybody.
Yeah. They are the Rodney Dangerfield of beans or legumes, I think.
Yeah. And most people don't like lima beans. It's kind of weird.
I don't care for them. I mean, if they are there, okay, but I'm not going to go out of my way to eat them. She's a recent bean convert anyway. So it's black beans were the ones that started it, and then ever so gently we're adding more beans. And me too. I've always hated beans other than green beans and pork and or baked beans. But now I'm let's try that. I used to absolutely hate pintos, but I actually really like them now. I will go out of my way again to order those.
Yeah, me too. I've grown with beans. Black-eyed peas and cornbread is one of those dishes we grew up on. So I never had an issue with those. Pinto beans I never wanted to like, but yeah, now I'm finding myself enjoying them. And I'm with you on limas. I just made a 15 bean soup. And it had limas in it. And it was fine because it was one of 15.
Right, yeah.
But you give me a bowl of lima beans? No, I don't want that.
No one should want that.
No. There's no reason for that.
On the 20th in 1841, Edgar Allan Poe's The Murders in the Rue Morgue was published. It was the first modern detective story. And I don't know where, I don't remember the story. I know of the story, but don't remember it. If it was in France at all, or France adjacent countries. Rue actually means street, so the street morgue. In 1999, on the 20th, the Columbine school massacre happened. I know it's a bit morbid and not anything to do with food, but I also think we shouldn't forget about it. And also on top of that, let's take a second to pause for the victims that we lost this past week due to gun violence or police abuse of authority. All right. But, yeah, there's a guy that I have met who's a record collector here in town with me. He's on a couple of boards that I'm a member of. And he graduated from Columbine High School in 1999. So I don't know. I just out of curiosity, I'll go look at his page on that date. And it's just posting of records like nothing ever happened. So either he just doesn't, it's just something he tries not to think about, or something that he does a diversion to get away from, or several other things. But he doesn't usually mention it happening. So, my wife's in the background. All right. Yeah, so I think it could be that it was just so horrific that he's put it out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. We're all going to deal with that kind of trauma a little differently.
Oh, yeah. In 2010, on the 20th, an explosion and fire destroyed the Deepwater Horizon oil rig 40 miles off the Louisiana coast of the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 men. The subsequent oil spill, over 200 million gallons, was the largest marine oil spill and environmental disaster in United States history. As we've pointed out, BP has done a tremendous job at least attempting to rectify the disaster. Not 100%, but they have done quite well. They've done what they can.
Hard to think that that's been 11 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it was only about 5.
Yeah, it seems much fresher than that.
Yeah, I agree. The 21st of April is National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day. Yeah.
That sounds really good. I'll take some of those, please.
It's also National Banana Day, which is always the third Wednesday in April.
And you really could combine the chocolate covered cashews with the bananas.
Yes,
that would actually work really well.
I think it would be very, very good. It is also, if we were in the United Kingdom, which we're not, and I am an Anglophile, I'm not afraid, Anglophile and Francophile, I'm not afraid to admit that. However, today is not a day that I would want to... oh, wait, no, that's a different entry, but I'll tell you why in a minute. UK is UK National Tea Day, not to be confused with International Tea Day, which is May 21st. Yeah, there's something coming up with the UK that you'll understand when we get there. Okay. On the 21st in 1959, Alfred Dean caught a record 2,664-pound great white shark with a rod and reel.
Wow.
Off Ceduna, Australia. How big was that rod and reel?
It's got to be pretty massive to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not one of those little Zebco things you get down here at Walmart.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Because, those things just, little bluegills will break that line.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
That's a ton and a quarter.
I mean, that's going to be a big fight. That's going to take hours to bring that puppy into the boat.
Yeah. How'd they get it on
I'm wondering,
boat?
how do you do that with a rod and reel unless maybe you caught Grandpa? Oh, I'm trying to get away from you.
I don't know how he did it. In 1962, on the 21st, the Seattle World's Fair, which was called the Century 21 Exposition, opened in Seattle, Washington. Also that same day, the Top of the Needle restaurant in Seattle was in the Space Needle was officially opened. It is the second revolving restaurant in the United States. It seats 260 and rotates completely once every hour. By the way, the world's first revolving restaurant was the Le Ronde restaurant, built in 1961 atop the Ala Moana building, fronting the Ala Moana shopping center in Honolulu, Hawaii. That restaurant has since closed down, but the Top of the Needle restaurant is still going in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. It's right down near the waterfront. Mm-hmm. So part of what you get to see is just this amazing scenery around the Puget Sound. But then as you're spinning around, you're looking at Mount Rainier. It's gorgeous.
So you've been there?
Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, I've been to Seattle.
Awesome. In 1963, on the 21st, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones meet for the first time at the Crawdaddy Club.
Interesting.
Yes. In 2020, on the 21st, some states begin reopening for whatever reason, while other states see increases in coronavirus cases and extend stay-at-home orders. Okay, on the 22nd, it is Earth Day. The first Earth Day in 1970 achieved activated 20 million Americans from all walks of life, and is widely credited with launching the modern environmental movement. Growing out of the first Earth Day, the Earth Day Network works with over 22,000 partners in 192 countries to broaden and diversify. So, also, the 22nd is National Jelly Bean Day.
Oh, fun.
Yes. So Earth Day is 51 this year.
I'll say it's really grown in popularity in our lifetime.
Yeah. That was the year I was born, so it was several months ahead of me. 7 months. Just shy of 7 months. So, it's been around as long as I have. On the 22nd in 1878, the White House hosted the first Easter Monday egg roll. Previously, the activities had been held on Capitol grounds, and Congress passed a law banning the practice due to limited maintenance and landscaping budget. Whatever. But President Rutherford B. Hayes was asked if children could hold the activities on the South Lawn, and he enthusiastically agreed, and the event has been held ever since. I don't think it was full on last year, but, Trump didn't have anything to do with it. Melania took care of it. But, so it has been a tradition, and I remember watching about that even growing up and stuff. So.
Yeah. You always get some fun pictures of the kids running around with a little basket.
Yes. In 1889, on the 22nd, the U.S. opened Oklahoma to homesteaders, and the Oklahoma Land Rush officially began at 12 noon. Now, I want to know how they did it. Did they have fences around everything? Did they have, how did they keep people from just going in? I mean,
don't know. I don't know.
It officially began at 12 noon. So was there someone there in like a race? They shoot a gun and people just start running for land. I don't know how that works.
Well, my guess is there was more land than there were people.
Yeah.
So you just went where nobody else was standing. It's like, all right, this is where we're going to set up. And whoever got there first, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was just a couple weeks before me.
Yeah. Just barely.
Yeah, just barely.
In 1913, Thomas Wright of New Jersey patented a method to load ice onto refrigerator railroad cars. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Like I said, on the 22nd, 1970, the first Earth Day was celebrated. Is our environment better or worse today?
I'm going to say our environment on the whole is much worse today.
Yeah, I think so too.
Really pay attention to that. We don't get, we get one Earth.
Mm-hmm.
One. We need to take care of this one.
It's true. On the 22nd in 1992, a series of sewer explosions in Guadalajara, Mexico killed more than 250 people, injured hundreds of others, and left 15,000 people homeless. The flawed design in the sewer pipe system allowed gasoline from an adjacent pipeline to leak into the sewer pipes. So gasoline and methane gas together probably was not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that final explosion. That,
Did you fart?
Boom! Yeah, that wouldn't have been a pretty explosion.
No, it wouldn't.
There were a lot of fans getting hit that night.
Yes, it was. In 2020, on the 22nd, coronavirus update, with theaters closed, CEC movie theaters in the Midwest started selling popcorn for pickup. And also, Disney furloughs 100,000 theme park workers. Germany canceled Oktoberfest, which normally attracts 6 million visitors. World oil storage stockpiles are full as demand dries up. Crude prices at $11.21 a barrel. So, on the 23rd the 23rd is National Picnic Day. It's also National English Muffin Day.
And the 23rd is on a Friday this year, so, go have a picnic on Friday.
True. National Cherry Cheesecake Day.
Ooh, take that on your picnic.
And perhaps one of the very few reasons I'm glad I'm not in the UK right now. In the UK only, it's National Asparagus Day, which is the start of British asparagus season.
I'm going to say, you're not going to be an advocate for that particular day, regardless of country.
That's true. It doesn't matter where that is. It should ban that vile substance.
I won't tell you what I had for dinner this past weekend.
Well, I wasn't with you, so you're all right. In 1982, the Conch Republic, which is Key West and the Florida Keys, seceded from the United States to protest an INS roadblock on the only road into the Keys. Just trying to trap somebody.
Yep. Sure.
And on the 23rd in 1985, the day it happened. 1985. Any guesses?
85?
Yes. That's the day that Coca-Cola announced they were changing its 99-year-old secret formula, and New Coke was a big flop.
Oh, a massive flop. Nobody liked it. Well, I can't say nobody. I think they're worth 3.
Yeah. Was on The Wedding Singer, you hear, it's Adam Sandler, but he's like on a radio station. This they're playing Der Kommissar, and after he says, I like old Coke better than New Coke because, well, I'm old and so was it.
I preferred the taste of the original recipe.
Well, the new recipe tasted like Pepsi to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, we already have Pepsi.
Yeah. To me, Pepsi is the sweeter of the two.
Yeah.
But, they tried.
Yeah.
They failed miserably.
Just give me a Dr. Pepper and I'll be happier than the other two anyway. So.
Right.
In 2020, on the 23rd, experts say reopening businesses will be harder than shutting them down. Wendy's was giving away free 4-piece chicken nuggets to anyone in its drive-thru on that Friday. No purchase necessary, so it was the next day then. On the 24th, it's National Pigs in a Blanket Day, and I know of 2 different pigs in the blanket. One is the way that I grew up, and that was basically a croissant rolled around a hot dog. And the other is pancakes wrapped around pork sausage links. Either way, I'm good with, but I prefer the croissant around the hot dog myself.
Yeah. Or if it's not the hot dog, it's those little sausages.
Yeah, that's fine too.
The little ones.
Yeah, but I prefer the big ones. I want the big ones. On the 24th in 1886, petroleum was discovered in the Middle East on the Egyptian shore of the Red Sea. I mean, it seems like that would have been before then. I know, but it seems like it would have been longer than that. 1886? Yeah. And on the 24th in 2020, another 4.4 million Americans filed for unemployment. Total jobless claims reach 26 million since the coronavirus outbreak at this time. 8 meat processing plants have shut down temporarily due to the coronavirus among workers, and crude oil goes back up to $17. On the 25th, it's National Zucchini Bread Day.
I like that bread.
I don't mind it. I remember one time when I'd never had zucchini anything until we moved here. And my mom went to make some zucchini bread, and it turned out we had cucumber bread. Yeah.
Oh, I've never had cucumber bread. I don't know if it would be the same.
Well, it wasn't awful. It wasn't awful. It just wasn't the same as zucchini bread.
Cucumber. Oh, that's classic. I love that.
On the 25th, it is the last or the latest date that Easter Sunday can occur.
There you go.
So there you go.
Not this year, though.
No. And on the 25th, in 1856, Charles Lutwidge Dodgson met a little girl named Alice Liddell. Alice had a penchant for consuming unknown and apparently psychoactive food, pills, and liquids that she found while exploring a very large rabbit hole. You probably know them better as Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. 3 years later, work began on 1859. Work began on the 100 miles long Suez Canal in Egypt to link the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, which was before they found the petroleum. So
just a little bit.
I wonder if that led to the finding of the petroleum when they were right off the, because it was on the shore of the Red Sea, and this was 30 years prior to finding the petroleum. Yeah. The Suez Canal actually opened officially on the November 17th, 1869. So it took them 10 years. Also, in 1959, the St. Lawrence Seaway opened. It connected the Great Lakes with the Atlantic Ocean. Its completion opened the heart of America's industrial and agricultural areas to ocean-going vessels for shipping. So, first time stuff in Chicago or wherever could get to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah,
without,
and then from there it could go anywhere else.
Yeah. In 1965, Swedish engineer Sten Gustav Thulin was issued a patent assigned to Celloplast Company for the modern disposable plastic grocery bag.
Boy, we could sure have done without those.
Yeah. I was perfectly happy with paper myself.
Renewable resource.
In 2020,
biodegrades.
It does. 2020, on the 25th, President Trump signed The $484 billion small business corona relief bill, about 1 million casks of beer going stale with restaurants and bars closed. Farmers are dumping milk. Super tankers and storage tanks are full with an overabundance of crude oil. And that was your week this week. Holidays in history. Special thanks to James Ehler at Food Reference for making us chuckle. Roller eyes make me glad that I'm not having to eat asparagus in the UK, but although I would not mind the tea. And yes, let's have bananas and chocolate-covered cashews together. I'm for them, like frilly toothpicks. I'm for them. This club is formed. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables of Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax, Vinyl, and more, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. And it's tldpodnetwork.com. This is a reminder to all the listeners. It's good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash them with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds. You don't know how long 20 seconds is?
How long is 20 seconds?
About this long.
It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in this time to promised lands, to show you everyone it's the time of the season for loving.
One of the hardest harmonies ever right there. That's so weird. But yeah, so the Zombies Odyssey and Oracle came out 53 years ago today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was a great song. Keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email at tim@themanwhoatetown.com or Ray or Leah at themanwhoatetown.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, instant messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are manwho8thetown. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast. Actually, any podcast on the TLD network. Just make sure you tell us which one you're calling about. It's 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422.
Numb.
Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM-6862.
I'm numb. Yay!
Comfortably.
Better than a numb.
Yeah. Like I said, the two people, you and Bethany from the Less Desirables, say that the exact same way. So, well, my name's Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we are closing this recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas.
Yamas.
You did that on purpose. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.